Just sitting looking out my or out the window and just thinking and reflecting as I see the birds fly by, soaring, cutting through the air with their wings, looking at a a project that was being built by a neighbor that was to benefit the community, but it's on standstill. The project is on standstill, where children can go and play and or possibly learn how to do play the steel drums. Someone with a neighbor with good intentions to do good things. Listening to the sounds of the birds as they sing. Some would say praises, but I learned that praise is an informed act. It's what is they are informing and they guess and complying naturally. Or it's not have to comply, but it's naturally they doing what the birds do naturally. They nature. Watching the trees or the wind blow and looking at the clouds, looking at a barren tree or partly barren. Still, there is some beauty about it. Looking at an abandoned building, you know, there is a garden that the same brother that was started a project to build somewhat of a community center. He's been doing well, having this garden for some time now. Yes, and been supplying people with food from the garden, and I do what I can to assist. It's not a lot, but I do what I can to assist. Uh, when time permits. The beauty, man, the beauty of of nature and all of its components. Now I just seen a pigeon. It just flew up on top of the roof, which is a clear indication that my view is one that is on high. So turn around. I'm gonna take a sip of tea. Excuse me. I'm just trying to continue to find that peace. That peace from within, and just relax. And using this technology, if someday I soon to and maybe will, to share this experience. It's not an experience that probably many will be. Ooh, look at the wind is blowing a little heavy. It's a beautiful thing. I call the wind a chichiwa. A chichiwa. Yes, it's not the lifestyle that of what society is called the rich and famous. I am in a extended part of a room. Yes, almost like a extended in addition to a room where it's not I could be isolated from the the noise that's on the other side as I hear the sound of the pavement from the wheels of the a car, as I hear the sound of a motorcycle. Now a bird just flew up on a wire, electrical wire. Look like the clouds is moving around. This creation, man, is beautiful, man. It's perfect. It's perfect. I just would like to have a enough money is that I could travel the world. The I think Mark Twain talks about travel. Is paraphrasing. He eliminates bigotry and prejudice. This paraphrasing what Mark Twain said. As you heard the sound of the messenger of this technology that went off. Let's see who it was there. Yeah, I can't. Doesn't matter. I seen some beautiful water in the Florida. Huh? What they call Florida. You know, it's considered to be south. I haven't had a chance to even venture overseas. Best way I try to explore my mind due to my financial situation to is through reading, travel through reading. Yeah, reading. It has its good points for me, and it has its bad points. The good points is, you it takes you to places mentally. Like if I read a book on and Stalin and Hitler, just using those two. If I read a book on the Scramble for Africa, David Lewis and another person wrote it. It takes me to those places. One of the most beautiful books I believe I read. It was very fantasy like, and very it puts you like right there. Was Zora Neale Hurston book, The Eyes of Watching God. I could see the lamppost. You know what I'm saying? I see the lamppost. I was Afro American literature class that I had to take in what they call college. Some education, yeah. When I think about college, I think about how I through books and reading associated with that, and how I came across David Walker Peel, 1829, addressing the condition of black people. And I know how literature is it plays a major role in educating and even bringing making people aware of their not only themselves of what's going on around them. Well, the it was cloudy now. The light of the sun has just cracked through, and it looks beautiful. The reflection of it, the reflection, it reminds me of the I am, the I am. Yes, this the reflection of that light. I don't know how true they say when the moon is full, it's the direct reflection of the sun. But yeah, the back to the David Walker thing, and then in college I wrote an appeal. It was called the Brother Raglan Appeal. It was I talking about how Thurgood Marshall broke the 177-year color barrier. Was initiated through Supreme Court of Justice. Talks about the Dred Scott decision. And I still we had to do a project in the in class, and I read it, and people were like impressed because I was pretty quiet. Then the professor, Miss Brown, I wish I could get in contact with her. She wanted to take me around, and she did to present it. She was so proud, you know, and I could have disappointed her because my psychological makeup was due to uh, inferiority. I'm comfortable around my people, but then when the opportunity presented itself to share it to white people, I was less comfortable. But at the end, total to the end of the brother, I call it the Brother Raglan Appeal, and And people got copies of it. I don't know if I still have a copy of it or not. I haven't located it. But my stuff is everywhere. It's just nomadic. What word you want to use. Vagabond doesn't matter. But yes, at the end of the presentation, I started getting stronger. She said, "What happened? You wasn't as strong as you was when you did it before." I never forgot that. Yeah. So then a guy named Reverend Williams. I guess he about 80 now. Yes. Been pastoring, I guess, over 40 years at church. Yeah. Um, he took me with him to present it. Before he gave a message of this anniversary of an anniversary of a church in Maryland. I forgot the name of the church, but yes, and this was because I was going through the field of what they call ministry, and his wife said, "You in there? You in there?" I mean, it's 25 or 30 years ago in the church. They said I was supposed to be the next black leader. Yes, I laugh at that. I laugh. What was that? 25, 30 years ago, maybe. Yeah, about 25, 30 years ago. Yeah, they saw that in me. They were sending me to school. The church was sending me to school and everything. Is paying it for it, and I squandered it. You know, because I realize that which is laws when we take one's good intentions for granted. Oh, I factored that in. Factored my part in it. Not focused, man. Um, yes, support. I had some support. But some people need need more support. You know, capacity. It says the weight an elevator only can take but so much, so you need more support in order to uphold the weight. The pressure. That's fine. I remember a guy named Dr. Crowley. He made his transition. His son's pastor now. He used to say to me, he say, "Man, you um." He said, "Man, it was Bible college." He said, "Man, you know some things, man. You know some things." He was very fond of me, man. I remember even when I was in college as well, different from seminary school. Uh, I remember I had a challenge about Socrates and Plato, and that they wasn't the original. They learned their philosophy from Egypt. Came their philosophy came to study over there, and the professor wanted to talk to me after class, and she took me to her office, and she pointed up and she said, "They may be listening. They may be listening. I'm, I'm out of zeal. Zeal." And she said, "What I say is right, but now is not the time." You know, that's pretty interesting. I remember that. You hear the sirens now. Hear that, and then the phone rung. I don't know who it was. Uh, disturbance. Well, yes, and I was thinking, and I remember I went to when I did a little time in the not in no federal facility in the county time. Uh, they gave me I use many different names. Yes, people don't really know me, but it's in the early '80s, So did some time, and for some reason, this one guy came to me from Colombia. He wanted me to do sell some drugs for. I didn't do it. I have changed. My life had changed. I changed my life. My heart wasn't in it. But yeah, I was in the jail and I was getting visits. From outside and coming in, and there's at least a couple of people I knew that was with the church that can come in and see me. It was giving me books to read, but I remember that I was in there and I was preaching and I was teaching, man. And I remember we did it was a talent show, and then what they had in there, and I said, and I wrote a poem, 'cause, I do one of my specialties is poetry, self-published 2 books of poems, and I was doing greeting cards and specialized poems for people. I'm getting paid for it, but I did a poem called "Soul Free." I am locked up for a crime, young and old, doing for a time, doing a bit for a time untold. But I can't recall however it goes. But I said, that's not what I come to tell you. I come to tell you the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Do you know that whole facility, you can hear a pin drop? They got quiet. Pigeons again over the top of the roof. That whole facility got quiet. You can hear a pin drop. And after I said that, I walked up into my cell, and people, no lie, people start coming to me and they start kissing me on my wrist and say, "Man, we needed that. We needed that, man." They was thanking God for me. Hell of an experience then when I was in the joint. And I remember when I was in the joint, man, and the CEOs, I guess they call it, what they call it, CO, yeah, COs. They would come to me and tell me, ask God to be good to me, ask God to be good to them. Yeah, man, it was about 25, I guess. Is that 30 years ago, I guess? It was 1989 or 90. What's that, shit, what, 25 years ago, I guess? Yeah, you feel the man. But yeah, man, I remember one time I was, on my, because I was with this, uh, group called Black to Black. We put out a single in 1995, 2000 Black with Mamadi Nasum, a local DC brother, and Kamal. Kamal was the other half of Black to Black. Yeah, yeah, Kamal. When I was out there doing my thing with this society and my poetry, I mean, people used to want to come hear me do my poetry. They, shit, yeah. I remember when I did some poetry at the Lenin Club down in DC. But yeah, so I remember this white girl. She was fond of me too, man. And wasn't bad looking, and she wanted to help me, and I wanted to be a part of my life. Me and I'm relishing in this fantasy, if you want to call it, thinking of myself more highly than I ought to, and I turned her away. I turned her away. I turned her away. Yeah, hurt her feelings at that, and I never forget it. I hurt some people feelings, man. I don't hurt some people feelings, man. And sometimes I can be honest, and sometimes I could be to say things in a very foolish manner, in a foolish way. So I did some more tea. Life is something else. I had I grew up in the Washington D.C. area called the project. I never knew what the project was, but called Kenilworth. And then we used to go down to the to the pond, the lily pond. You know, throw rocks, let them skip, see the frogs jump, play at the train tracks. One guy named Kenny I heard got his legs cut off. That's when I left. Uh, and my mother said that one when I was born, a lady wanted me, and my mother said no, she wasn't giving me up. uh, maybe something behind that, that's another ball game for itself. Not that my mother had any intentions of doing that at all, no. Oh yeah, it was a story. My mother was a nice looking lady. She still at this present time. Well, I talk to my moms. But yeah, man. One guy said people were scared to talk to my mother. Yeah, she was nice. And my mother never drunk, never drunk, never participated in any drugs. Never. But I did. I sold some drugs out here. She from 1982, 83 to 88. I had a good 5 to 6 year run, man. It's street. But man, I know how to find a spot where the money was. I remember one time I went to a spot because I was selling drugs at a place called Guys and Dolls, and that's in Maryland. And I remember it was getting dry there, and I went and found a spot down 51, and Jamaicans was running that spot. And I remember I went down there and tried to create a spot. And next thing you know, they try to get me. They try to get me, and I, I, I broke away and called a cab, and rode out and told my main man who was he did pretty good for himself, but he got killed, but murdered. The the police, DC police, something. They said they didn't even know he existed. He was under the radar. He was making money, doing pretty good. Yeah, that's who I was working for and working with. He always like to consider me his partner. But yeah, man, I went and told him. Then we went back down there, 51, man, and shoot, man, we rolled, man. And I remember the stick up boys tried to get me one time, and Shorty Black, and one thing in those days, uh, that the sticker boys didn't want to make a scene, So just don't let them get close to you. So he didn't get getting close to me. I rolled out. I told the guy that I was with down there. I said, man, I'm rolling out. I rolled out. So I can roll out, man. I can roll out. Some of the guys at the church, young guys, they say, man, you around 1 minute, next minute you gone. Yeah, I, I pride like to be invisible. It doesn't matter to me. But listen, so I was thinking though one time we was down there and me and my man was walking with some packs to issue them out, and brother Ray was walking around in some pack. Brother Ray walked with some packs, and the police came and they pointed you two, and I pointed to him, he pointed to me. Man, we both turned around at the same time and hardtail, man, and when we hardtail, we getting rid of the merchandise, the packs that we was going to distribute out to the guys to sell. And they finally got me, and but they didn't find the stuff, but they wound up letting me go, caught up with me, and yeah, same time, we talked about that, we talked about that at the same time. Yeah, I just see them, see a key here, a key there, wasn't nothing too major, but getting slow money, slow long money, slow long money, slow long money. Yeah, had a little reputation for myself. I was really a cool cat. Cool guy. That's what people know me as, and they know me as being respected and getting money. Uh-huh. But I mean, I wasn't all that tough. Even though some used to call me Tony Montana. I know how. You know, um, my limitations. I remember I was doing what they call PCP. Yeah, I was doing that too. And I was rolling with that, selling bottles for 400, $500, getting it from California, getting it from California from a guy named Chop. Yeah, I was getting it from him. His wife, I forgot, got her name, but in the 80s, it was real heavy then. And I remember one time I came up short, and I was down at the place called the Panorama Room watching, those go-go bands. I like to watch them go-go bands. I used to go down there in the early late '70s with my aunt Martha. For some reason, I always be thinking about my aunt Martha, and we were forming real serious bond, me and her, and I didn't go to her funeral though. I don't know if she had one. I think they have her ashes, but probably some regrets probably I do have in that regard for me to bring it up. But yeah, man, no, she used to allow me to go down to the Club to Burn, man. In the late '70s. I was still a teenager, man, still in high school, spending weekend over a house. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, was I selling drugs then? I can't remember. But yeah, man, it was some good times, man. We were really bonding. She got sick, and I went to the hospital and see her, and she told me to get her out of there. I mean, that scared me for that scared me. I didn't know what to do. And Aunt Martha, yeah. So I think Curtis Murphy did a song called Aunt Martha's Miss Martha. I think it. Yeah, yeah. I don't know, but and very strong sister, man. Very strong lady, man. Then my uncle Squirrel, Richard, he OD'd up in Northwest. Good dude, man. He said he wanted me to be a fighter. And I mean, one time I was out and I thought this one guy had bit my apple, and he didn't do it. And another guy bit my apple, but I took a serious ass whooping. Maurice, he had a long arm. Boom, boom. I mean, I tried to get in there. I couldn't get in there. Then I tried to get in there and rush him. I bent over and he kneed me. I went in the house, man, and my uncle told me, get back out there and fight him again. I took another ass whooping. Oof. Yeah, old Maurice. And then I saw him when I was in high school. This was when we were about 9 years old, I guess, or 10. And I saw him in high school when I was going to Central High. And I don't know if he was going to Spingarn or not. But man, when we first seen each other, we automatically ran and embraced each other. It was no airing and nothing like that. I wonder how he's doing as well, Maurice Andrews. Yeah. So yeah, my uncle wanted me to box, so I tried to get into boxing. I really didn't like to take no blows. I like to give 'em. I remember one time, man, we was out on the street up the word got out over in the Sulina area. They had this arcade up there, and there was this lady, girl that I wanted, and the guy said, if you want her, man, let's fight over. I never got her, but we went out there and fought, and he supposed to be the toughest dude in Sulina. I heard. Man, he threw a weak jab at me, then he threw another weak jab. Boom, boom. Man, I stepped to him, man, and he buckled his knees, and and next thing you know, everybody else wanted to fight me. I said, well, I'm the champ. No, y'all want to try to take the title from the champ, huh? And there was a guy there by the name of Chip. And he was surprised. Chip had respect for me ever since then. Yeah, he had respect for me ever since then. So yeah, man, I remember times, man. Shit, I went it was down Palmer Park one time, and a guy pulled out a gun. And I mean, he showed me his gun. He said something transpired, and he showed me his gun. I took the gun from him. I said, man, are you crazy? And gave the gun back to him. Man, I should do some wild stuff. A lot of stories, man. I used to do it. It doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not a guy that's considered to be famous, so my stories that's not valid, but some valuable to some have value for some people. But oh yeah, I don't seen stuff. A guy Dave, remember that? Dave, remember that? He had respect for me ever since too. Dave helped me out. I was, I ain't had no place to stay and homeless, and while I was sleeping in my van, they possessed my van while I was in there, and Dave knew a guy that had a lot of money, and Dave gave me the money, and I tried to give it back to him, but it was too late. He didn't want it, so I don't talk. talk to Dave. And, I'll talk to him. But yeah, as fact is, boxing. And I was thinking about when I think about Dave, I think about his sister Tawana, who my uncle married. His married his sister, and it was her sister. And how Tawana liked me, and I like her. And but I was a fool. I was making good money, respectable money, I should say. And how she remembered that we could have been in a relationship and engaged in something sexually, but it didn't transpire because for some reason I said, well, we too close to family, which means I had some morals about me, but she's still beautiful to this day, man. She had a child, and she's still beautiful, man. I try to reach out to her, but hey, to no avail. That's fine. I try to reach out to a lot of people to no avail. I try to reach out to my biological father, twice we made some connection, but hey, that's fine. It's fine. But yeah, to this boxing thing, and I was training, and the guy took me on as a wanted to train me, um, and I was going through the mo eating raw eggs, man, and I was jogging, man, because I thought I was pretty good, with my hands. And this guy that took me on, I can't think of his name. I think his name was Pop, 147 pound, and he was a lightweight contender. And he saw something in me, but I didn't see nothing in myself. I mean, I didn't see enough of me. I didn't see enough of me in myself, and I become very impatient, you know, and because I was still, knowing people that was in the drug game, and I started messing with that, snorting that coke, man, and I was ready to get in the ring. I was considering myself like a Bobby Chacon. Bobby Chacon started a little late, around 25, I guess. And he said, man, that day that I didn't show up was the day that he had somebody there for me to spar with. What a life, man! What a life! I mean, and that bothers me to this day when I see the guys in the ring. I wonder, if I would have stuck with it, or stuck with it, what could it have become? I think about that. I got a lot of regrets, man. Even a football, I remember I got most valuable player on defense. Um, in the Turkey Bowl, man, I was popping, man. I used to remember one time this one guy, man, it was for Allentown. He came and he was looked so big, man. He came to me, man. I fell on the ground, I was so scared, but then my father raised me. He took me out there in the backyard and said, "You ain't gonna embarrass me no more," and took me out there, and I was vicious ever since. But yeah, man, I played linebacker at my size, no guard, and I got most valuable player on defense, man. And I didn't know it. I wasn't playing for that. I was just playing the game. I was playing the game. I didn't notice that one guy named Brian Tucker, um, who played basketball for Potomac High School, and he played football. And I didn't know this. He said they talk about me in the barber shop. I'm a little guy. He said no one want to do ready ready with me. Ready ready is when you get on your back and you get up at the same time and you all make contact. So nobody wanted to do that with me. I didn't know. I didn't know it. I see it's just these little things. I don't. Sometimes maybe I don't know the value that I bring. The value in myself. You know, um, and maybe I do know it. But then again, maybe am I looking for someone else to see that, or how is it to be cultivated? How is it to be cultivated? So yeah, man. I wonder if I'd have stuck with that because I tried out for high school and I was ready to just put on pads. I became impatient. Impatient. And I often think of my biological father, who's a lieutenant colonel. I often think if my life would have been different if I would have, if he'd have got me and took me in the military with him. And there's a story behind that, but if I'd have been, my life would have been different. My living conditions would have been different. So yeah, man, this is the part of my life that I welcome, possibly welcome people in. And I remember this, my grandmother passed, and me and my grandmother was close, and I eulogized my grandmother. Yeah, I eulogized my grandmother. So, but needless to say, man, her name was Mary Frances Christmas. So, other than that, man, part of aspect of my life, and it was a beautiful time and very therapeutic moment for me to be able to use this technology and share it. If I leave you anything, man, don't stop, man. Don't stop. Whatever it is that you're going through in life, whatever your goals and your dreams and your aspirations are, don't stop, man. Just don't stop. Just don't stop, man. Just don't stop. Thank you.